Okay, so we're going to take a look here how we can use a button widget to replace some of these buttons here in FPS multiplayer template. Now I've already installed a long time ago, well actually maybe last week, a third-party GUI solution. It's called Fantasy GUI for, and in it there's a demo actually. It's the I guess I could fire this up. I'm not going to bother at the moment. But in it, we've got widgets. And these widgets will show up in our, over here in our palette when we actually open up a GUI. And you'll see here in a moment, I'm going to scroll down. And you'll see here WB button blue 1, blue 2, blue 3. These are all part of that third party. And so these are actually button widgets. I'll have to show another video how to actually create these on your own. These are already provided. So the first thing I'm going to do is go here to, we're going to identify an area where we'd want to add a button. And I'm pretty certain here if I start collapsing these buttons, settings buttons, yeah, so we can go to, okay, so here's the menu widget switcher here. That's this whole section here. I'm going to grab one of these buttons and I'm going to bring it in. Let's see if I can, there we go. Ah, there, see, their button shows up. And by the way, we can move by using one of these buttons. I can turn on and then move it to the bottom. Now, what we want to do is we want to take this button and switch it with quit. So the first thing we can do is just go on here and then it provides the text from the widget, exposes the values. Just to let you know, this is not an actual text. This is not the actual text box that we're looking at, but rather a reference. So I'm going to turn on, just put quit in here. Okay, like that. And for better reference, I can turn over here and rename this, and I'll just do underscore quit. There's a reason why I left most of the name in. It's because it also allows me to know what type of blue button. Blue button 2 and 3 do not have these gold borders. So I can just, by seeing this blue button underscore 1, I immediately know that it's got the gold around it as opposed to non-gold. Okay, now for our next step. We're going to turn around and actually click on the quit. Okay, and I want to actually see where it is in the graph. So I go over here and on click. I just hit view, and then immediately it'll race me over here to this. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually create a custom event. Add custom event, and I'm just going to call it player quit or quit clicked. I mean, that's probably a better one. Just quit clicked. Okay, and then we turn around and we just put that there, and for all purposes we can disconnect that. I can later, I'm going to show you what happens when we delete the button. Several things are going to have to happen here. So now we have quit click, but we have no way of let's compile real quick. We have no way of it. It's not actually connected just yet. So let's go to do we have any on begin events? Event construct. Yes, this is a good one. So on event construct, we'll go and look for our button. And by the way, in our variables tab over here, that button should show up. So we should have, here we go, see? Player quit. So we're going to bring it in, get it, and then we have to reference the button inside of it. It's a widget, so it's actually a composition of many items. So inside of it is an actual button, and so we're going to, there we go, get button 0. They all, any of these widgets you have, they'll all have the name will get button 0. Okay, and then on that, I'm going to go on bind. Bind the on. So all of the button attributes that a button would have are all here that are now exposed. So if we want on pressed or on hovered for the button, we could bind something to it. But instead, we're just going to do on click to make it nice and simple. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to connect that. Now, here's where the magic occurs. We're going to take our quit clicked button. just going to bring it over here so it's easier to see. Okay, and then we just connect it. Now what's happened is this button that we just brought in, the widget, is now going to activate that whenever we click on it, and the logic will then just flow like it normally does. So we'll hit compile, hit save. And I'm using version control, so we have to check it out. So for all purposes, that should work now. So unfortunately, I've got this one. This is my test map for Dragon Hill. So we're going to have to switch this. So let's go to Gothic Isle. No, wrong. We're going to go to FPS. And we're going to have to load the start level, I believe. Rush team test map. Main. What the heck? Main. Let's try main menu. Maybe that'll save selected. Okay. And then let's fire this up. And sure enough, see, quit. See? So I can turn around and click on it. And we quit. Okay. Now, the second part, as I was mentioning, because we now have 2 quit buttons. We don't want 2 quit buttons. So I'm going to turn around and select our horizontal box here. And I'm just going to turn around and delete it. Cool. Now I compile. Now watch what happens. We are going to get errors. Yes. The reason being is that that button had several features, or, well, we had several things that would happen when you're hovering. And these all related to changing the colors of the text or the button. That's all taken care of now in our button widget. So we don't need that. So click that, and delete that, and then delete that, and delete that. There we go. And ultimately, if we were to switch all of the buttons, this whole unhovered button area would be deleted. What's interesting is, see, yeah, I should probably, on niche buttons, I should probably attach this logic. So for all purposes, this logic here is going to turn around and just take up this whole section here instead of us initializing the onhovered and logic and whatnot. And if I compile now, everything should be clear. Hit save. Let's go back to main menu. Hit play, and bingo. See, now we have our new button, and we can quit. And there, and that's how we can implement button widgets from other third-party solutions. Okay, and there we go. That should be about it.